Hi, first graders. Ms. Vanderhoff. I know you have been learning all about nonfiction, reading nonfiction, writing nonfiction over the last 2 weeks. So today our learning target is going to be about reading nonfiction and using that good teaching voice when you read your nonfiction. So our learning target today, by the end of today, I will be able to read my nonfiction book in a teaching voice and share it on Flipgrid. I know some of you guys have been really enjoying sharing your books on Flipgrid. So today we're going to be practicing reading the nonfiction book you've been writing, practicing that good teaching voice. You're a news anchor reporting the news. And then when you feel ready, I made a Flipgrid for you guys to share it. So I'm going to practice using my good teaching voice when I'm reading a nonfiction book. And then I want you guys all practicing that as well. And then I'll show you where to share it on Flipgrid. So I'm going to share a book with you. Give it a second to load. I chose a book about butterflies because this is going to be a good preview for next year. In second grade, you guys are going to learn all about monarch butterflies. And I found a book about butterflies, so I thought we could start with this. So if I'm going to be reading a book, now here's the thing, sometimes it takes a lot of practice before you're ready to read out loud to present your book on Flipgrid. And so sometimes the first time we read, we're just kind of figuring out some words and it might go kind of slow. And then the more we practice it, the more we build our fluency. That fluency means the way that it sounds when it reads. It sounds nice and smooth. So that's what we want to go for. We want fluency. We want expression where it sounds, make our voice change a little bit. Like when you see an exclamation point, you change your voice a certain way. When there's a question word, you say it a certain way. That's called expression. And so we want to use all these tools that we've learned to read it really smooth and with expression so that it's ready to present. All right, so this book is called The Butterfly Life Cycle. So I'm going to do a little bit of practicing about how I'm going to read it. And when we read it, I hope that you read the whole book. So the whole book, including the table of content you're going to be writing today, including the captions and the labels on the pictures. We got to practice reading the whole thing. All right, so here I have the table of contents. Table of contents. The life cycle, egg, pupa, adult butterfly, glossary. Then I always read the headings first. Now sometimes the first read goes a little slower, and if I realize it's going kind of slow, I practice. So this section is called the life cycle. A monarch butterfly has 4 stages in its life cycle. So the first read, I was going kind of slow because I was kind of figuring out the words. So I'm going to do a reread and practice, making sure I get all the words smooth. The life cycle. The monarch butterfly has 4 stages in its life cycle. Okay, that was a little smoother. Now the next read, I want to focus on how it sounds. I want to do it in a teaching voice. Remember we talked about like you're a news anchor reporting the news? So how would a news anchor report this in a way that's teaching the people listening to it? Let me try to read it that way. The life cycle. A monarch butterfly has 4 stages in the life cycle. What did you guys think about that? Did that sound like a teaching voice? Okay, so sometimes it takes a couple practices. It's going to take a lot of practices to get it really good. That one took me 3 tries. It might be the same for you too. Now I don't want to leave out the pictures, so I'm going to read the labels in the picture. So the title of this section, Life Cycle of a Butterfly. Egg, caterpillar, pupa, adult butterfly. All right, let me go on to the next section. Now something I want to point out in this section, and I hope that you're doing this in your nonfiction books too. I see the captions under the pictures. I hope that when you're adding pictures to your nonfiction book, you might be writing some captions. And it's really important to read the captions too. When we read nonfiction, we have to read all the parts. So I'm going to read the heading. Then I'm going to read, this is called the body, like the main part. And then I'm going to go back and I'm going to read the caption, because the captions tell us a lot of extra important information. So I'm going to read this page in this order first. The heading, then the body, then the caption. All right. Now the first read, it might go a little slow, and then I'm going to get smoother each time. Egg. A female monarch butterfly lays an egg on a leaf. A caterpillar grows inside the tiny egg. The egg hatches in 3 to 12 days. And now I'm going to read the caption for the picture. A young caterpillar hatches from its egg. A female monarch butterfly usually only lays one egg on a leaf. All right, that was my first read. It wasn't very smooth. It wasn't very fluent. So the next time I read it, I want to focus on getting my voice really smooth and just making sure that I read the words smooth, or I'm not stopping in between each word. And then I might take a third read to think about how I want it to sound. Okay, so now I'm going to read it smoother. Egg. A female monarch butterfly lays an egg on a leaf. A caterpillar grows inside the tiny egg. The egg hatches in 3 to 12 days. In the caption, a young caterpillar hatches from its egg. A female monarch butterfly usually only lays one egg on a leaf. Okay, so that time I knew the words and I was able to read it smooth, but then I don't think it really sounded quite right. It didn't sound like that good teaching news anchor voice. So now that I know all the words and I know how to read them smooth, the third time I'm going to read it, it's going to be with expression. I want it to sound like I'm teaching. All right, so I'm going to focus on how my voice sounds this time. Egg. A female monarch butterfly lays an egg on a leaf. A caterpillar grows inside the tiny egg. The egg hatches in 3 to 12 days. A young caterpillar hatches from its egg. A female monarch butterfly usually only lays one egg on a leaf. How did that sound? I got all the words. It sounded smooth, and it sounded like a teaching voice. All right. So I know there's more to this book. I'm not going to read the whole book to you. I want to show you the flip grid that you're going to use when you're ready to read your books. So I hope that you guys are going to do the same thing that I've been doing. With the nonfiction book that you've been reading, or sorry, the nonfiction book that you've been writing and creating over the last 2 weeks, when it's done, when you finish writing your book, I want you to practice reading it. The first time you read it, you might get stuck on a couple words. The second time you read it, it might be smooth, but then it might not be in that good teaching voice. And then the third time you practice, I want you focusing on how to do that good, strong teaching voice like a news anchor. And then when you've practiced and you feel like you're really ready to teach through your nonfiction book, you're going to have a flip grid to share it. So this is in your schedule. In fact, I'll show the schedule too. So in your schedule, on Thursday reading, it's going to say, right here, practice reading the nonfiction book you've been writing in a teaching voice. When it's finished and you're ready, read it to us in this flip grid. And when you click the words flip grid, it's going to bring you right here. So it says, share your nonfiction book. Read your nonfiction book for your classmates. Make sure you read it in a teaching voice like you're a news anchor. So when you feel really ready, you're going to click that plus sign and you're going to get to read your nonfiction book for us. So I hope that you guys do a great job finishing up your nonfiction book. I can't wait to hear all the research you've been doing on these animals you've been writing about. And when you feel really ready to share it and read it like a teacher, I want you to record on that flip grid so everyone can see your book. All right, have a great weekend, and I can't wait to see your books. Bye.